Say, I'm more than a conqueror. God has blessed me. Whenever a church becomes victorious through elimination, by eliminating the poor, whenever a church becomes victorious by elimination, by eliminating the people who do not look too well to us, whenever a church begins to be victorious by elimination, where that those who do not make good money in salary feel uncomfortable, whenever the church is able to be victorious through elimination, where the stumbling and the weak are looked at with such discouragement that they do not feel like coming back again. Whenever we become victorious by elimination, we might become a great church in the eyes of the world. We might become a great church in the eyes of others. We might be able to look like a great church because everybody looks so good when they come to church. And there's many a church like that today all across America where that they have become victorious by elimination. And the people who go to summer camp are the people who can pay $60 a week to go. And the people who go to retreats for marriage are the people who can pay $150 for a weekend. And the people who have fellowship are the people who can afford to go to the good places. And the church has become victorious because it's become victorious by elimination. But when you eliminate the poor and you eliminate the hurt and the suffering, you eliminate the Holy Ghost. And you only have a form of godliness, and God looks at it and he will spew it out of his mouth, because Jesus Christ has come and declared that to the poor the gospel is preached, and the gospel gives power to everybody, not just to those who've had an opportunity to be strong because of the way they've been raised, or because they have special mental abilities or personality traits or physical attraction. But God has said, I've come to destroy the work of the devil, and the twisted one I want to heal. The one that's hurt I want to change. The person who's crying I want to minister to their heart and bring them forth into victory. And I will bless you with resources so that you can bless those who have not. I will bless you with time and encouragement so that you can pour yourself into those that have needs. I will make you a people who magnify and exalt my name, saith the Lord. And in exalting my name, you will not betray those who need me most, saith the Almighty. I look about and I see the need in the hour for God to move upon people. So often we're able to, if we're not too concerned, simply take the cream off the top of the milk. And thank God for cream because it's so rich. We reminded of the church in Revelation that said we're rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing. Why? Because we're the cream that's on the top of the milk. And we've all been just kind of skimmed off and left everything else that's thin. The richness is all pulled off and we're the richness. But God said, I'll spew you out of my mouth because you think that you're rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, but you're naked and cold and blind and miserable. I challenge you by gold that's tried in the fire. Try this hour and this moment to come to the place of victory that comes through your struggles. Oh, there's struggles in being a Christian. And if you haven't found struggle, then you haven't found Christ. I tell you, there's struggles. You never knew how much the power to say no struggles within you until you say no. You never know how big the burden is until you make up your mind to serve God, and it seems like hell makes its decision to come against you. You never know what it is to come to the place of obedience, except you do, and then you find out that everything disobedient seems to rise within even your own spirit, and you've got to come to the place of saying, God, you've worked in my life, and you've wrestled with me, and I've gone through the hard place of the fire, but God, you've been purging me, and you've been purifying me, and I can renounce self as well as the works of darkness. I can recognize that except I'm buried in baptism and rise to newness of life, I have but a sham and a form of godliness. But oh my God, I pray in this moment that I might be able to know God, whom to know is life eternal, that I might be able to know you and the Son that you've sent, eternal Jesus, to die for me and bring me into resurrection power. God, my cry is to know you. When we look at the church today, it's a glorious work that God has. We don't want to be too disparaging of the church, but yet God's saying something. He's saying something to the church. Who am I? Who am I? The one who puts the rubber stamp on your dreams and your ideas? Who am I? The approver of all your wishes and your goals? Who am I? The one who put rubber stamps your visions as being those that are authentic? Or am I God who would teach you? Am I God who would be a father to you? Am I a God that would open your eyes to look and behold that my plan and purpose is bigger than what you think it is? I'm a God who's come to destroy the works of the devil. It seems as though for some the church is the place of exodus. We're not leaving Egypt, we're leaving the whole affair. We're leaving the sick and the weak and the hurt and the suffering. I remember one particular evangelist preaching healing. Right on the front row was a woman in a wheelchair. She seemed to be there every service. And you could sense in the spirit of the minister an aggravation. There she sat. And she signified the people who have not been touched by God. And I believe that God will always leave somebody in a wheelchair, because the only ones that really cause many of us who are ministers to feel uncomfortable is when we preach healing and somebody there says, I'm not healed. But I want to tell you, when we preach salvation, there's somebody who says, I'm not really saved. There's somebody who says that I've not really come to God. Though I've cried out some way, somehow, I haven't received it. When we preach holiness, there's always somebody that's sitting who said, I also asked God to give me a pure heart, but I don't have a pure heart. I think that we have to realize that there's people in the church that still have needs. There's people in the world that still have needs. And we'd like them just to get out of our sight, get out of our face. Don't be there to be a monument to the fact that I'm not God.